You're not gonna like me.
That one's bigger, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's definitely not gonna fit.
Mistakes have been made, and whenever the mistakes are made on this channel, it's always me. It's not the fabricators, it's not Abel, it's not anybody, it's always me. In this case, I'm gonna run down, thank God, there is somebody in Los Angeles. It's one of the best parts about living in a massive city for the time being, is that there's somebody that has the correct BMW rear diff for the front of my RX-7. Yes, you heard that correct. The one that I showed off could work very well, but is not the one that has the ability to be upgraded with wave track internals and the helical gears and all that. Nope. These guys just saved my ass. They do BMW repairs, so huge things to you guys. You guys are only 3 miles away from Sano, so this is just too good to be true.
What's up?
Hey, hey, hey. Oh, that's beautiful. Almost as beautiful as Adele singing in the background. Well, there's the culprit right there. Thankfully Corey's not here at the moment, so I can slowly just swap them out and he'll never notice. You're not gonna like me.
That one's bigger, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's definitely not gonna fit.
There are some benefits to it though.
What's that one out of?
That one is what that one was listed as. That's the correct case. Obviously the clear drawback.
Yeah, that's how big it is.
Yeah, you know, we would have to remachine stuff. But I mean, if we're already here,
Yeah.
of all things, that one is the one E36 diff
Okay.
that is not a 188 ring and pinion.
Really?
Yeah. It was listed as that. I went back and looked. It bothered me that these didn't have the same snap ring position. I was like, that doesn't make me feel good.
Pull it apart and see what we get. We're gonna have to drain it, I'm sure.
The trick to all of this is psychology, and in this case, I don't have, I'm gonna put these back in so it looks bigger than it does right now, because right now it looks so small compared to that one. So we're gonna make it look bigger so that way Corey doesn't get psyched out. My feel from this is the closer one looks bigger because of camera angles, but you know, this could be shaved down just a little bit on some of the case. The one thing that really sucks ass is the cups. The flanges are wider. So that's going to shorten on the both sides really, because you have to make them symmetrical. It's going to shorten the axle length, scaring me a little bit. It's a little bit more intimidating, but it's 1.5 inches further from the axle, so that exhaust pipe can actually go through like right there. This is clearly the smallest CV cup possible, I think, in the world. But this one's only slightly larger because it's still an open diff on the inside. So me going out and buying these CV cups for a 108 mil 930, well, they're slightly bigger and they should fit inside this diff. Okay, please. And there we go. Thank God. Something is working in my favor right now. We have 930s on a front diff. What's behind door number 1? Oh, that's full of fluid. That's the high spot right there we have to worry about. I accidentally dropped one of the bolts in the fluid, so if you see a bolt pop out, that's...
One of these little ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks heavy.
Yeah.
Heavier than the last one.
Look at how just beautiful this is. So this is obviously when the car hits a bump. We're gonna go back down a bump just like that. We're gonna go back down to 0 degrees. Okay. And there you are. So once the car hits a bump, push this down. Almost 8 degrees of articulation. What's interesting though is this comes with that little rubber grommet thing that's like basically a bump stop, so it doesn't destroy the entire suspension when you bottom the car out. That's sadly an absolute necessity in this case. So that will make the ride pretty harsh once you hit that, but it's also going to dampen way quicker. You know, it's hitting a limit, but it's still giving you some bit of sponge, some bit of squeeze at the very end of the range of motion. So that's another about 2.5 inches up. You can adjust this. You start messing with a little bit of the geometry, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty damn straight. And you can see right there, that's, of course, the angles are going to change from clear 90-degree angles to slightly more as it gets to the end of its range of motion. So the vector of forces clearly changes a little bit, but I feel like that will be nominal. This is promising, very promising. That's the correct 188 mil ring right there. Bigger case, you can see how much taller it gets, so it's obnoxious. But we're gonna have to do some fabrication with either one. The neat part is this U-joint flange moves it back about 1.5 inches, and we're gonna have to angle it, not like that extreme, but possibly we're gonna have to bring the front down. But look at that, it's clearing, or at least not getting in the way of the exhaust flange. She also has the 930 CV flanges on there, and if you imagine the 930 CV in here, it pivoting inside the center of it, that almost goes in line with the suspension, so it's not too far towards the tire. It does shorten the axle, but still usable. Although these are both open diffs, the size difference is very apparent. That is a 168 mil, that's a 188, and that's considered a medium case diff. They have 210 mils that are used in larger M5s and so on. But this little baby is used in a 318, and it is in the E36 series, but one of the few that are not a medium-sized diff.
So it has to go that way. Hit that forward on the side, the rack. See how the bolts through there? You just push it forward, yeah, push it in. Okay. So there's what we really have.
That cover could almost be flat, and then just enough space for the gear. Like roll a piece and then just do 2 angled caps on it.
Weld it right on there.
Look like a mini Crispin.
Exactly.
This is just impressive. I bring them an even larger diff, and they've come up with 5 different solutions on how to make it fit. That is very impressive. I thought it would be, it is a huge challenge, but there were some modifications that were going to need to be done with the smaller diff anyway. You're already going to cut into some tube. You're already going to be rebending some of that front frame. So this kind of makes it more purpose-felt, more purpose-built, more purposeful. There's more purpose.
Oh God, you got the big ones?
It's just like being a dick. It's like, hey, you want to have your carpet on like all night long?
You got the big ones?
Keep firing.
So this is how a car build is really done. None of that fast and loud bullshit. You've got a lot of discussion, a lot of planning, running through scenarios, and in this case we've ran through quite a few. The guys made the tough call to notch in and double plate the inside of that tube, cut this tube out completely, and then potentially either A, have it run and then bend under and then mount from there, or B, have it bend under the whole way. But a problem that was originally kind of a devastation to the project that is now becoming a blessing in disguise is the fact that this is not at the under ride height, that this is 6.5 inches when we've got 4 inches of travel expected. So we can drop things down 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches without a problem. Really, the diff is probably the heaviest part about this. You can see why we need to machine these. You can see that little radius circle right there. That's from earlier in the video when I was trying to figure out why the top of the shock was hitting these. And it's right there. Marvin and I completely disassembled the rear after we got it all set up in those beautiful pictures you see right there, but he's doing the final welds on a lot of those things. We're setting all the pieces down on the ground for assembly in the car. The subframe's gonna go in the back, put everything back on it, push, pull, pop it, lock it, drop it, until it gets into the right spot where the wheels fit the wheel wells just where they're supposed to be and fit all the suspension geometry, and then it's locked in. It is go time.
Yeah, we gotta spin it.
Oh, hello.
Dude, that looks something super sick.
No, let's wait till all the parts are on it.
We have to put pry bars in there to put this tube back in though.
Okay, like we did before.
With this, and I shim this part.
Yeah, these tubes coming down to this junction, and then one diagonal to his head will look rad. Because then I was thinking coming from that junction up to this one too, to your bend here, so it makes a triangle.
No, what I'd like to do is I want to put a bend in this with a sleeve, and then bend it down. And then when this one hits, it has a big area to overlay that sleeved area.
Because then this will be really sweet with this bumper setup.
Yeah, it'd be like a truck.
Coming out to the corner here.
Well, off of there too, you can do
No, both. That's
bent
what
pieces.
I planned on doing both.
You put the cell down that low. Set it right in there.
There we go. The guy's got the rear subframe finished, and it is sitting in the back of the car. That is where it's gonna be. That's where its home is meant to be. We're gonna finish up for today. Today it's, well, tonight. And we're gonna have fresh, clear, bushy-eyed, bright-tailed, whatever the cliche is, mindsets, because, you know, we gotta adjust and make sure everything fits with the rear wheels and all that. We're gonna attack all of that and have tube ran tomorrow.
Like you could do like a super sick overlay all over. Like,
Oh yeah, like holes and everything.
yeah, holes, corner, like